thank you for telling me. That's very important that I find out if the game is not being captured correctly. And because I, don't have my stream set up or my desk is set up, I don't have the luxury of multiple screens. So I'm always fighting against having enough real estate on my screen to keep up my run notes, the timer, and chat, and still have OBS open. Like I can't actually see my stream when I'm streaming. Like I have other things that are more important for me to see than just my own stream playing back to me. So. Alright, this is a Mint New Game Plus speedrun. We'll be playing through the entire game as Mint, using a game save with maximum stats. Because of those stat values, most of the combats will be extremely abbreviated. We'll be able to one-hit kill almost everything in the game. There are some sections in, especially the earlier game, where with good platforming we have a lot of time save to pick up. At the time of recording, we're comparing against my personal best splits, which are only 12 seconds behind the Japanese world record. I currently hold the English world record, but I'm hoping with this run we'll finish more than 12 seconds ahead. I should also add, if you're a fan of the game, and you're not already a member of the Threads of Fate community Discord server, to go ahead and consider yourself cordially invited to do so. We have lots of fans there, cool resources and fan art and all kinds of cool stuff there for you to see and check out. So, very cool place for Threads of Fate fans. Hopefully this run I'll do a little better minding my dialogues. Try to focus in a little bit more on this run than our previous attempts. Oh. Why did he jump? That was unlucky. not worth. I think that's worth restarting the run over, but we're probably not going to get that 4 seconds of time save we've been enjoying on our previous few attempts here. This is probably going to be like a 550 or 549 if I had to guess. Rough. So the tricky thing, well, maybe not a tricky thing, but something to be appreciative of is that even with like being behind by a second here on the first split, this is still very playable and still can world record. We still have lots of time save and we still have lots of boss RNG that can go our way. So we still just have to keep going and hope for the best. Pretty good gargoyles. Can't really complain about anything there. Movement down steep clips was okay. When we got hit, I was trying to attack that guy, but he hit me before I hit him, unfortunately. Alright, I'm going to try to go for the corner of the vault this time instead of straight on. Yeah, that way we can get that menu immediately. Alright. So, Merce Baby Cake, do you know the story of this video game that I play frequently? You know, I kind of read, I don't really like sit and read through any of the text, so do you only know the parts that I play and like don't actually know the story of the game, or are you familiar with the game enough to know what's going on? Just curious. Alright, let's do this dialogue correctly. There we go. That was right. I double guessed myself there. Second guessed. That's the word. I double guessed. I second guessed myself there. Ugh. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was a little all over the place, but worked out okay. Don't know why I'm way over here on this side, but whatever. That was good. Nice, nice, nice. This is the one cycle. Nice. That's what we want to see. That's actually not that hard. I'm just bad at it. Big fire? Big fire, please? No. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, now let's focus and finish the whole rest of the game. But this is a very hot pace. For me, at least. Alright, in this fight, we just want to try to not get caught underneath her spinning magic attack. Because basically, we're just trying to find a chance where we can hit her. And if she gets us caught underneath that, we won't take very much damage because our stats are so high, but it will keep us from being able to attack her. So. Depending on what she does right at the start of this fight, we might have to back off and give her some space while she does a magic attack. I think she usually does. But yeah, and she's... dang it. Oh, save time there? Okay. Maybe the new strat is to just be close to her so that we can attack instead of hit her with magic, but... All things considered, that went about as well as it could. I saw she was coming at me and I tried to back away, but she caught me. I don't know if it's because I stopped running away or because she was so quick or took a better line on me than I took away from her. But fight's over now, so we're gonna on to the next. Hopefully this fight goes better than the last time I did it. What? My bad. Not much to say about that. I fell off. Ooh. Okay. Alright, still a lot of game left. We're in good position, but I still need to execute fairly well for another 2 hours a game, so quite a long ways to go still. To be perfectly honest, I'm gonna feel a lot better about this if the Mel's mini game or platforming sections go well. I'm still fairly nervous about this. I can very easily lose 30 seconds here. If things go poorly. It's pretty hard to lose 30 seconds at other parts of the run, but Rune Pool and these minigames are where one small mistake costs you quite a bit of time. Alright, there's one. That's good. We're going for 0 points here. If you get, I don't know what the threshold is, but I think it's like if you get any score, the game will award you a bronze coin. And so by scoring 0, we avoid receiving a bronze coin as a consolation prize. We just get no prize. So instead of it being like game over, here's your bronze coin, it just says game over. So By not scoring any points, we save one text box. And that's something we'll be doing in the other mini games as well. I scored after the game over. That was interesting. Okay, I'm off the cycle here. So we just have to make sure we don't mess up this jump here. So this isn't super quick, but I would rather go a little slowly and carefully than make a mistake. So that worked out nearly perfectly. Just getting through without falling in is like good news. So once again, we're trying to get 0. Whoops. I want these guys to hit me. They keep missing. Ugh. I keep hitting the wrong ones too. I guess if we're gonna get a coin, we're gonna get a coin. Oh, no, okay, cool. Not a high enough score, I guess. Ah. Losing time on him falling down, that's just RNG. Can't do anything about that, unfortunately. Oh no! Brutal. That was going kind of slowly too, throughout, honestly. Could these... Okay, I don't know what's gonna happen time-wise, but... That was not great. That was probably the worst that could have gone. Falling in at the very end like that costs you the most time. We're gonna have to, well, we're gonna finish the run no matter what, but we'll see where that puts us. I don't know how much time was lost there, but I'm really surprised that the mistake happened on Trumpets and not on one of the first two I've been having harder time with lately. Failing on Trumpets is a little nostalgic because, like, when I first started speedrunning, that was the hardest one for me. These days I have the most trouble with big balls, then swings, and then Trumpets is usually easiest for me. I think we're still in pretty good shape though, question mark. Even if we don't pick up a lot of time save on this split, if we can stay on our current pace, we'll be in good shape. Let's just pay attention to catch up when this, or start up real quick when this cutscene ends here. Don't make a mistake right off the bat. Get too caught up in our review that we incorrectly move ourselves. Or forget to pilot the game further. Good movement there. This fight's relatively easy. In New Game Plus, that is. In any percent, this fight is very scary. At least for me. I'm pretty bad at it in any percent. Okay, yeah, so we probably lost 20 seconds, 25 seconds on that one mistake in Trumpets. Okay. Whoa. a bummer that he hit us there. Could have been slightly faster otherwise. I think that one of the key things about speedrunning this game that people maybe don't think of is the mechanics involved with knockdown. That if you get knocked down, you have two options to stand back up. Actually, three. The first is you can like just wait for your character to stand up on their own, in which case you're probably just holding a movement direction. That's the slowest because they're going to stand up whenever. I actually don't know how long that takes. The next one is you can press the attack button to get an immediate stand up into an attack, which is what we had to utilize there. And then the last one is you can spam jump to immediately jump out of a knockdown position. Thank you for the follow. Missed the name, but I'll check it in a minute here. Thanks for following, Fandam. Oh my god, I'm so happy my search for TOF came up a speedrun. Well, if you are a fan of the game, which it sounds like you are if you're searching for the game, consider yourself invited to come join the Threads of Fate community Discord server. There's like over 100 fans have joined up there. We've got cool speedrun resources, guides, explanations, tips and tricks. We've got cool discussionings about the game happening almost every day. Lots of cool resources, translated interviews, all kinds of cool stuff to check out. So if you are a fan of the game, you are cordially invited to go find that and join. Should be able to do just like a Google search of Threads of Fate Discord server, should come up, or if you're speedrun focused, you can go to the speedrun.com Threads of Fate game page, and there should be a link there for it. But yeah, so we're doing a Mint New Game Plus run. So we have maximum character stats, so we like one-shot everything in the game. And we're on pace for world record at the moment, so just trying to play really well and finish out the rest of the game here. Go to... Okay, another door. Okay. I got into the game as a kid. The music is second to none. I agree. Yeah, definitely a big part of the nostalgia is just hearing these songs. Thank you for the good luck. We will need it because some of the time save and time loss that's remaining in the game from this point on, for me at least, has to do with the RNG of boss attack patterns. So the different things that the bosses attack us with will determine when we can hit them with an attack. And if you get slow patterns, then you're just going to take time loss. There's nothing to be done about it. So Cloud Whale especially is the biggest offender. Finish out the rest of the game. Yep. Ugh. Losing time on these dialogue choices. Never seen anyone one-shot that dude. I need to get New Game Plus going. So there we actually didn't one-shot him. We had to hit him twice. Because the first hit that we got on him... Rod has a high defense at certain parts of the fight. And so if you hit him at the wrong time, it can take 2 hits to kill him. And we hit him while he was in the air in the middle of an attack, so... we actually had to hit him twice in that fight. Which can happen. Is this going to let us change magic before we trigger the fight? I'd be into that. I don't think it's going to let us, though. Actually, I'll just... Yeah, I was going to say, let's not mess around. Let's just get to it. So one of the strategies you can do in New Game Plus is utilize powerful magics. This boss fight is one that I will do so. We're going to use a magic that requires all of our mana in order to use. However, we will immediately replenish it with that purple pot right there. Boosh indeed. All right. Oh. Not ideal. We're looking for a short hop there, but that's alright. We landed on it well enough. Okay. Getting into a little more platforming here. Shouldn't be too scary, but I want to make sure I do well. We're gonna actually, yeah. So I actually timed that out the other day as far as whether you want to jump back or if you want to just dive right into the hole right there. They're about the same time, but if you dive into the hole, you don't have to risk falling in on the second jump, which would cost you 1 second. And if you dive in, you get a moment of where your character's kind of flashy. You get a little bit of invincibility there, and I think it can help you get past the enemies in that section if for some reason you would get hit by them. That's the short hop we're looking for right there, so that was better. So far this is going pretty well. Got another short hop there, that's good. Okay, we want to hit this windmill 5 times. Now we're going to dive in. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, that was very good. Now we're holding X right here. To get through that dialogue, we're still holding X. We're going to be holding X through this next section as we jump to avoid these guys. There we go. Still holding X so that when we get to this cutscene, we're already skipping through text boxes. Very good. And now we just hope that Cloud Whale gives us some really good RNG. I think my movement through that section was probably the best I've ever done, honestly. Didn't really get caught up on any corners. Didn't mess up any platforming that I can recall. I think the magic menuing could have been slightly faster, but no, that's execution stuff, that's not mistake stuff. Is there a psychology of speedrunners video I watched for training? No, but it's something I've thought about a lot. And depending on which speedrunners that you enjoy to watch, a lot of people will talk about it, talk about their feelings and what they're thinking as they go through stuff. At least some people are pretty open about it. It's pretty interesting though. Definitely has... It can be very extreme, right? Because like, at a certain point, you get a time that's so good that even if you're playing well, any little mistake puts you off of that and puts you behind or whatever. It can be really damaging. It's probably why I would say that I don't see myself being a speedrunner that would like continually grind for super duper competitive times. I think most of the time save that I ever get when I speedrun is because I learn more about the game. If I ever get to the point where I feel like I know everything about the game and I've, you know, played a run where I didn't make any major mistakes, I'm not gonna like keep grinding to try to nickel and dime a second here or there in slightly better execution. Like that's not the part of... Nice. That's not the part of speedrunning that's fun to me. I don't have any interest in grinding. But that is perfect Cloud Whale RNG. That was very, very good. As you can see, we are back on a very hot pace. All right, and this is going to spit us out at Rod. So we're going to go up first, up and to the right first. One of the tricky things about speedrunning this game in particular is a lot of the like pace in between the action sections is all about anticipating what's going to happen in the next bit. Like when this cutscene ends, where am I? What's happening? So like I'm thinking, well, there's a little bit of dialogue with Rod in the field, and then I'm going to be beginning up against the river. So I need to be like holding upright so that when all the cutscenes end, I immediately start walking in the correct direction. But at the same time, like anytime there's a cutscene, you're thinking about what's next so that I can prep for going in the right direction. But at the same time, it's like you get to a cutscene and it's like mentally tricking to like, oh, this isn't an action section. I can check out for a little bit here while I wait for this cutscene to end. So it's kind of both. You have to check out so that you don't get burnt out for concentrating for 2.5 hours, but then also you have to know that like you can't really check out all the way. So here's a dialogue here. And now I'm thinking, okay, this is going to put me into the next dialogue, which is inside the house. Then I'm going to begin in the corner of the room, and the camera angle is going to be such that I need to go either up the ramp to the right, or I need to go up and around Elena. So it's like you have to be thinking about what's ahead. You have to know the game a little bit, at least to run at the level that I do in this game. Surely you could just like wait for the game to load and then start moving, but you're gonna eat a second of pace at every cutscene then. If you don't get the jump every opportunity you can. This one's kind of tricky actually. I don't think I have a specific strategy about what direction to go here. I think this time I'm gonna go kind of to the right instead of I'm gonna go up right. We're gonna try to go up the ramp and off the edge of the platform. We might have to throw in a jump, but I think it's faster to go to the right than straight ahead. But I don't have this. This is one part I don't have figured out completely. Basically, we just hope we get down into the basement pretty quickly. All right, there we go. Oh, get caught on the door. So like my run notes here say Klaus, comma, down right. So I know that at the end of this cutscene, I want to be holding down right to go up the stairs. Which is true for most of the Klaus scenes. Most of them are down right. But there's a few that are different. What other games would I consider running? I would consider running the games I've already run. I could see running Duo Princess again. I think I have a shoutout world record in the Maya category there if I decided to put some time into it. I would consider running Nier Automata again. I've done some mostly glitchless runs in that, but it's a fun game and the glitches are cool. Problem with that is that to be competitive in the main categories, you have to play on PC, and my PC is no bueno for PC gaming. What other things have I speedrun? There's something else. I would consider running Spyro the Dragon, but my disc is kind of scratched up. It's pretty beat up, so if I was going to speedrun Spyro, I might have to invest in a new disc or play on emulator, which again is like not ideal for my PC. Alright, we're just going straight to Raging Mountain here. Would I speedrun Onimusha? Probably not. I don't think I'm that good at that game, at those games. And I know that a lot of the speedrunning... Ooh, wrong way on that. I know that a lot of the speedrunning of Onimusha has to do with like the critical timings and instantly killing things, which is not really something I've ever been good at. past it. There it is. Whoop. Why can't I jump? Okay. That wasn't smooth, but wasn't too slow. I think we only fell in an extra time. I don't know. I'd actually like to not do too much speedrunning. I think speedrunning is pretty difficult for someone of my age. I think I have more fun watching speedruns than I have actually doing them. Actually doing them is a little stressful and what's the word? Adrenaline fueled, I guess, in some instances. This game is not too bad offender of that though. It's pretty chill with all the cutscenes, but okay. Nice. That was a good fight. Hopefully we don't get knocked off this this mountain here. Nice, nice, nice. Good, good, good. All right, hopefully we get a... It would be really cool to get good RNG here. I've had bad RNG for this fight the past like 5 out of 6 times. The only time I've gotten good RNG on this fight was the first time I ever ran this category. But there is time save here if he starts out with a physical attack. If he's on the ground at the start, we can save like 8 seconds or something on our pace. Just RNG, man. Just boss RNG. What's it gonna be? Nope. Pretty good though. Fire is much better than whirlwinds. So yeah, we did save, what's that, 4 seconds there? Also good platforming, climbing up the mountain, not getting knocked off the flame blob jump. So that probably has something to do with it too. Yeah. See, the thing is, we're like 40 seconds ahead, which is super duper good. But at the same time, there's another Cloud Whale we have to fight. There's still more platforming. There's Light Valen RNG at the end of the game. Like, we could still get mega trolled off of this. Like, I'm not gonna feel confident that we have it until we get like a minute and a half ahead of pace, and then I'll be like, okay, even with terrible RNG, we're still gonna get a good like. But I don't think it's possible for us to get that far ahead. I don't think there's that much time save to be had. All right, now we're going to Klaus. Oh yeah. This cutscene always catches me by surprise. It's lucky that there's a cutscene before it because I'm already holding X. That, like, even though I don't remember it, it's like, well, I'm already doing the right thing. But the thing is, as soon as they leave, it's still like back to normal. Like there's a screen wipe and you're immediately back in town on your movement. So you gotta, yeah. Kind of surprised the door opened, but there we go. Just because we were on the wrong side of it, you know. Not the opening side, but the hinge side. But that worked out. You got this. Thank you for the, what is it, the vote of confidence? Is that the way you say that? Okay. Next is Goratan. So we're gonna go to Mel's, talk to Mel, and then go fight Goratan. If you have cute cat emotes, when we fight Goratan is a great time to share your cute cat emotes in chat. It's like past 10 o'clock for me, local time. Usually I'm like trying to wrap up a run right now. So we're going to be up a little later tonight, but hopefully it works out for us. Not going to lie, I'm pretty hungry. Didn't have a very good dinner tonight. Just kind of snacked on cheese and rolls. Okay. Yeah, going to Mel's, going to Goratan. I'm just trying to keep focused on what's my next task. I don't want to get caught not paying attention. Go. I think here it spits us out inside her room, so we need to like go down left to get to the door next. Could be wrong though. Nope. Okay. Oh. Alright, that was pretty good. Getting caught on the porch there was a little unfortunate, but I don't think that's gonna cost us much. Alright. I've not done this fight with this magic yet, so I'm hoping this works out okay. Nice. Definitely worked out okay. We're gonna keep on White Circle. Now we're going to go back to Klaus. Go to Klaus twice here. Yeah, so it's like time save in that split was only because, you know, like I tried a new magic there that I hadn't used before that I thought would be good. Like a different strategy. It's like, that's exciting to me. It's like, oh, I came up with a good strategy for that fight that I hadn't done before that saved me a bunch of time. Did I play particularly better? Probably not. I pressed triangle just like I usually do. Like, I saved on a magic menu, but like the execution part of that is not the part that gets me excited, at least personally. Now, if I saw somebody else do it, I'd be like excited if they played super well, but at least the part of the speed run that I get enjoyment out of, is about learning new things and trying new strategies and solving the puzzle in a slightly better way, or that type of thing. So okay, second time at Klaus. Then we're gonna do the cutscenes with Primadol at the lakeside. This is our longest split of the game. As you see, 19 minutes or so. It's a section of the game that has a lot of cutscenes, a lot of talking. So it's a good like intermission part of the speedrun. At least that's the way I see it. And the fun part is I think I'm better at the second half of the game. Oh, shoot. Nope. Stop talking to Myra. Alright, time lost there. Hopefully just a few seconds, but that was unfortunate. Got a little hard. I got a little hard too during that fight. Oh, during the Gorotan fight? Yeah. I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. Was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I was like, I think I'm a little better at the second half of the game than I am the first half of the game, but I think that might just be because there's less platforming and there's more intense boss fights. But in New Game Plus, like all the boss fights are easy, so. Just the fact that there's a little less platforming, I think, is the enjoyable part. And I don't know that necessarily there's less platforming in the second half, but I think I'm better at the platforming that's in the second half than I am the platforming in the first half. It's a lot less punishing. If you make mistakes on the platforms in the second half, it's like you spawn close enough that you're not losing that much time. You're losing like a second or two if you fall in. Whereas in like Mel's or the Rune Pool, if you fall, you're going to lose tens of seconds potentially. But yeah, after messing up in Trumpets on this run, I was nervous that we weren't going to be able to hold on to it, but then the boss RNG and Cloud Whale and Wylaf was pretty good, so it's like just how it goes sometimes. Okay. Klaus. Down right, then we go talk to Rod next. We're gonna get a little bit of time save in this split from not using a magic menu again. I think other times I've done this, I've switched to like a yellow magic or a blue magic to do the witches. We're just gonna stay on the white orbit circle magic that we've been rocking for the past few splits. You wouldn't think it, but switching magics or switching monsters when you're playing real, that adds like 2 seconds every time you do it. So when it comes down to less than a minute pace, finding ways that you can not transform or not change your magic, or finding ways that you can like if you're transforming as Rue, as you step on a portal or as you cross into a new area, it will sometimes give you what's called a transformation skip, where the game will load the next thing before it like completes the animation for your transformation. You can save a little bit of time that way, but it's hard to do. Why am I behind him? That was weird. I'm gonna see the camera do something weird here, I think. Yeah. I wonder if there's a optimum position to stand on him so that the camera moves the least distance, like moves quickest. But that was fine. Okay. After we talk to Rod, then we go talk to Klaus. This is a tricky part of the run because it's like Rod's taking us, but we talk to Klaus in order to depart. So if you're not paying attention, this is a part that can catch you by surprise at like, oh, what am I supposed to do next? Because it doesn't make any sense that you talk to Klaus next. All right, now we get to enjoy a long cutscene. I never know if like I'm gonna gain or lose time on this split because it's so freaking long, but it's like I can't remember the start of this split. I can't remember my movement from like leaving Goratan to know if I'm like doing well or not right now. Some would say like, oh, that means you should add another split, right? Because then you'd have another comparison point, but it's like wouldn't be that helpful because there's like nothing going on between now and when we actually do the escape. And if I added another split, then I'd be like, that's one more thing I have to worry about and like press a button during the, like I want to give myself less things to do rather than more things to do. Especially during the intermission part of the run where I just get to chill out, rest my fingers. Yeah, it's like all the fun levels are here at the end. After escape. It really is the halfway point, too. Even in the timing of it, like we're at 1:15. This is a 2.5 hour run. You know, there's 6 minutes of credits on the end, so just under 2.5 minutes. So we're like pretty much exactly halfway through right now. And especially depending on your pace, you know, like at least in this category, this is halfway through the run. I'm not certain about where the timing of splits ends up on the any percent. I'd have to like dive back into any percent in order to know. Because in any percent too, the boss fights take a lot longer. And because there's more boss fights in the second half of the game, it would make sense that maybe the second half is a little longer than the first half. If you're using this section as the middle point. I'm just reading my notes here to see what's ahead. Mentally preparing, thinking about the platforming that I'm gonna have to do. Honestly, I kind of feel like once I get out of this escape section, I'm going to be feeling pretty comfy. This escape section is like the last part that I'm usually ever that nervous about. Oh, can I jump, please? Okay. Falling twice is not the best I've ever done at that, but like I said, the platforming sections in the second half of the game are not as punishing. So I think that only loses us like a second. So that's not too bad. And we're gonna, like I said too, we're not gonna be changing magics here, so we're gonna pick up a little time on this platform section. Well, I say it's not actually a platform section, but we're gonna jump on these flying platforms. But we're not actually platforming at all. We're just gonna be stationary on the flying platform. The anti-platform section. So it's like an auto scroller, basically. It's like we get up here past 4 witches, and then the cutscene takes us into the next thing. So. So like now I'm thinking the next thing I do is I go to the tavern. But we gotta hit a split when we get back to town. I like how the pumpkins are just chilling while we have a conversation. Oh, that's right. I always forget this scene too. It's like, okay, we got in the hexagon, get ready to split. But no, there's this whole dialogue. The other funny thing is like, see how blue the sky is right here? When it switches to the next cutscene, it's gonna be like, boom, nighttime immediately. Like there's no sunset or twilight or anything. It's just like from day to night in the very next scene. Also, I guess it's worth saying, I don't know that my gold splits are actually like true gold splits compared to my other runs, so take them with some salt. I don't think I really have gold splits on all of these, but some of them. On the Cloud Whale one, I definitely do. That was a pretty damn good Gamble Forest, if I say so. All right, let's see. The next thing is we're gonna go rest, and then leave out the left door. For one of my favorite sections of the speedrun. Corona Forest 2 and Underground Ruins 2. I just think it's fun that you get to do that movement through those sections again, and you know, there's different monsters and different things going on. That's kind of cool. But like right now, this cutscene's happening. I'm holding left so that I can prepare to leave from the tavern door to go to the inn, which is our next movement. Yep. There we go. And then from here, our next movement picks up in Corona Forest. Just like constantly thinking about what's the next thing ahead. Ooh. Really good movement through there. Okay, we need to make sure we don't help these guys. That was good. That was a really good Corona Forest too. All that was really, really good. Okay, after this, we're gonna go talk to Klaus. This is kind of a cool cutscene where Myra has her sword out. Rue shows up in true anime fashion to rescue us. Just like kind of cool. Mint has some of the cooler story beats, I think. Just little scenes and little interactions between characters that aren't in Rue's story. All right, to Klaus. So now my notes indicate Klaus, comma, up. Even though I don't necessarily remember where this spawned us, I believe it's going to spit us out right at the top of the stairs. So from here, we're going to Underground Ruins. Also, fair warning, when I get up to Valen's Fortress, if we're still on a good pace, I'm probably gonna not be watching chat, not be reacting or responding to chat. Of course, that's not till after we like do a whole Psychomaster fight and do Tower of Maya, so I'll still be here for a while. But when we get up to that final level, we're gonna have to do Cannon Orbs after that as well. So that's not anytime soon. But when I get up to that point, I'll probably opt to focus on the game and my notes. So here we're going to be switching magic into green normal. And we're going to have to switch to fire to melt the ice later on, but then we're going to switch back to green normal for... There we go. For Tower of Maya, we're going to use green normal as well. Wow, that was a weird hit. Well, that was my bad. Could I, like, not be on top of these enemies? That'd be cool. Oh. Ugh. This has not been going very smoothly, honestly. Not that it's gone catastrophically bad, but fell off those platforms a few more times than I wanted to. Okay, that was kind of a typical Underground Ruins too. I don't feel particularly good or bad about it. I think the magic menuing that I did was a little quicker than I usually do, so I feel happy about that. Falling off the platforms isn't great, but I also kind of typically do fall off a platform or two there or get knocked by a skeleton, so like that's not out of the ballpark, or not out of the norm for me through that section. Here we just have a bunch of dialogue until we fight Psycho Master. Which is a pretty easy fight. We just jump behind him and hit him. Also, us switching back to green magic is not something I don't think I usually do that in this split, so it could save us some time on the Tower of Maya split just by moving that up, you know. Somebody's about to catch a ridiculously huge hand. Yeah, I guess. Or foot. I mean, we'll see what happens. Oh. I don't know where that extra attack came from. I think I was just holding X for the dialogue and didn't get a clean release, I guess. But there we go. That's how that's supposed to go. Nice that we're gaining time little by little rather than losing time little by little, little by little. You'd love to see time gain rather than time bleed. Doll Master looks rad after, but the huge arm form is a contender. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm excited to for you to see the Doll Master fight. It's pretty cool in this category. Okay, so now I'm thinking about what's in Tower of Maya that's going to stop me up. It's going to be pumpkin platforming, which usually I don't have issues with. The Wabbit platforming section can be tricky, but I just have to remember that I have the stats to jump kick those guys and shoot those guys with magics and stuff, and I need to go tearing through there. And I think we'll be in good shape. Okay, so from here, you just go to Tower of Maya. Do you do the platforming trials in this category? Are you talking about the ones in Valen's Fortress? The answer is yes, you have to do those in order to progress through that level. Those aren't too tricky. The first one's the hardest, usually, for Mint at least. Oh, for the witch lady? For our males? No, we actually, by speaking to characters in a certain order, we talk to her before we talk to Rod. So she's going to give us a cannon orb before we go talk to Rod and find out that we need to find them. If you do that, she gives it to you without having to do that platform section again. Because normally, like, you would go talk to Rod, he would tell you, hey, I need 5 more cannon orbs. And then you go talk to her and she's like, oh, well, I just gave it to the Popple Pearls. And then you have to go do their platforms again. But if you go talk to her first, she will give that to you before she gives it to the Popple Pearls. And so, no, we will not be doing any more Mel's platforming. That's true in both the Mint Any Percent and the Mint New Game Plus. Both categories do that route because ain't nobody got time for that. This is another finger relax section I need to remember that I can take my hand off the controller for this. Okay, Tower of Maya. I like how the whole sky turns purple here. Even like when the camera flips the other way on the other side of town, the sky's all purple. Alright. Oh no. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, that last section with the witches did not go quite as well as I would hope, but the Wabbit platforms went really well. The pumpkin platforms went well, even though my pacing across the pumpkin platforms was such that the cannon shot was a little spooky. Okay, maybe the gold splits are working correctly. gaming. Keep in mind though, being a minute ahead now is pretty exciting. Like, better to be a minute ahead than a minute behind, but there are still some pretty RNG intense boss fights in the end game that can definitely hack off some of our pace. So looking at you, Cloud Whale, in particular. All right, this fight I've noticed works a little better if we see which direction Mode Master runs at the start of the fight and then kind of position ourselves closer to her. So I'm going to be looking to see, usually she runs towards us or like down and to the right, somewhere either towards us or to the right. But I'm going to be watching to see where she goes, take a few steps, and then start casting the green magic. That's how I do this fight. Oh man. Kind of a bad fight, honestly. Okay. Right, there's this dialogue section here where we have to inspect Mode Master and Imma. Oops. That dialogue did not go super quickly, honestly. That's all right, we did it correctly. All right, on to cannon orbs. We're actually gonna stay on green magic. There's a section in Valen's Fortress where you fight some gargoyles, and it can be faster depending on where they spawn to either attack them physically or to use green magic. Or any magic, really, but since we're on green, we're gonna stay on green because it's applicable for that. All right. Just really hoping for good RNG for the rest of the bosses here. So here we're talking to Mel and Maya about some junk. And then I forget what happens, but Mel's like, oh, when I have this thing, maybe you'll find it useful or something. I don't know, she gives it to us. She gives us the first cannon orb. So it can be particularly a bum deal if I don't do this, if I don't talk to all the people and collect all the cannon orbs. So I'm going to be starting to switch gears into focus mode here as I collect these cannon orbs and prepare for Valen's Fortress and the end game. And then there's a dialogue here where she's like, see, I already have one. And he's like, oh, sweet, you already have one. Ta-da! Oh, what a coincidence. Alright, now we talk to Klaus. Because he's got one. Now to the tavern. Now we have to remember to buy this cannon orb. I've done a run before where I forgot to actually buy it. Like I did this cutscene and then I just like walked away and just like left it there. Didn't realize until later. I was like, which one did I miss? I talked to everybody. So you have to actually remember, you have to click like pay the man, buy the thing. Alright, now we go back to Rod, who's actually Belle, and we talk to Belle. I'm just now realizing it's kind of interesting that Rod and Duke take the Pulsar Inferno Typhoon Omega to go to Raging Mountain. Like any other time you ever go to Raging Mountain, you go out through the big door. Wait. Is Pulsar Inferno in the cave? I didn't see it over there. It looked empty before. Where did the Pulsar Inferno Typhoon Omega go? This is such a silly cutscene. It's like Rod's worst weapon and Duke's worst act versus Wylaf. But like, this isn't in Rue's story. There's some cool stuff in Mint's story. Okay. Now we just get to do Valen's Fortress, the end game. Take a little sip of water here. Yeah, see, it's not in the cave. Where is Pulsar Inferno Typhoon Omega? It's not in the water and it's not in the cave. I've never noticed. It's like not in this scene. Just an oversight, I guess. All right. All right, time to focus up. All right, chat, I will see you after I defeat Light Valen. Right at the 2-hour mark right there. You'll love to see it. Going to Valen's Fortress. All right, let's get this going. Where's that Razdan music? Or I guess Rastan, right? Not Razdan, Rastan. Let's get it, let's get it, let's go, go, go. Alright. Interesting gargoyle spawn locations there. I was totally surrounded on that side, but they were all close, so I opted for the physical attack. Alright, this is the hardest platforms, is the first one. Some of these gaps are a little tight without having double jump. Okay, okay. Not perfect, but we'll take it. And by that I mean just a little slow on one of the jumps. The last one, particularly. That guy usually gets me, too. Yeah. I knew I probably wouldn't get that, but I had to go for it. There we go. Up, 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 down, up, two. I always fake myself out and prep for an enemy there. There's not an enemy on that first one. Up, up. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up 2. Oh, that zigzag's kind of weird. Oh well. All right. Alright, now we get to go to torch rooms. Oh no, arena 4. How do I forget a whole arena? Whoops. I'm just preparing for torch rooms, because arena 4 is kind of a gimme. Okay, now torches. Weird. You see that? He was like shooting in the wrong direction. That was also kind of weird. Don't know why she targeted the torch. Usually when you press X, you like pick up the ball. Bully. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Blah. Okay. After torch rooms, yes, okay. So I'm gonna try to switch here. There we go. Oh. I'm gonna start torch room split. It's alright. Not a great fight, but that fight's always pretty short. So even though it wasn't great, like that's a typical clear. If you get right behind him from the start, you can hit him before he does that first ice cubes attack. So it could have been a little faster, but that's fine. So coming up here, Cursed Crossroads is the beginning of some pretty intense RNG. We could lose a lot of time to a bad Cloud Whale attack pattern here. If he spawns a bunch of Gamolians and jerks us around, then we could lose a bunch of time here. But nothing really to do about it than just go in and see how it goes and hope for the best. Come on. Nope. Okay. Yes, this will work. But there's not a split here. Okay. Because we still have to fight Nightmare and Skull Beast. Okay. Alright. Doll Master fight. This one's actually pretty fun. So the music changes, he's gonna put Rue down, then the fight begins. That was the fight. Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Quick fight with that strategy. I'm very proud of that. I don't know what to say. I found that strategy and it's really cool. I just really like showing that off to people, especially if they haven't seen it for the first time. Okay, next is the one fight in the game where having maximum stats doesn't matter. We still have to hit this boss a certain number of times. With Mint, you have to hit him 10 times. When you play as Rue, you have to hit them 8 times. The additional enemy in this fight, we will be able to one-shot, and that does make the fight significantly easier. The thing we're trying to do is to not miss a single cycle and to travel the least distance to complete those cycles as possible. So kind of see which way the boss is going to be going and try to get to him as quick as possible each time without missing any cycles. And just bopping the additional enemy as he respawns as needed. There's still RNG involved in the final boss fight after this one, where we could gain or lose additional time. So there's still some RNG involved in the run, but I'm feeling hopeful at this point. I'm getting my hopes up. And I'm ready to kick this guy's butt. Let's go. Let's do it. What? So we did miss the first cycle, unfortunately. All right, nice, nice. One fight left, and hopefully there's really good RNG, really good RNG. We only have to hit the final boss once, but we have to wait for the opportunity to do that. Get a good attack pattern from him, good transformations and phases or whatever. We don't actually know how to manipulate it, so it's mostly just about playing clean, playing well, and trying to not get hit. Just some things I've observed that help, but there's no confirmed manipulation at all yet. We are going to have to switch to the gold magic at the start of the fight, which doesn't usually go particularly smoothly for me, but we'll see how it goes. You'll also notice that the timer doesn't end until well after this fight. That's because there's some stuff after the final boss fight that you actually have to do, and then the timer ends at the very end of the credits. So we're going to have to watch the credits all the way through afterwards as well. So I'm switching to holding square here so that I can go immediately into the magic menu right when the fight starts. There we go. Not very... Ugh. Oh no, that's not good. We were hoping for the instant transform there. Okay, I think we want to be right under him. Nope. Bad RNG. Bad RNG. We need more transformations. Come on. Oh no, don't let me lose this. There you go. Okay. Yeah, bad RNG in that fight, unfortunately. We lost our super hot pace, but this presumably will still be world record run. All right, I'm gonna take a look at chat now. Hello, people. JJ Agogo, welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoyed those fights. Looks like, yeah, you blinked during the Dollmaster fight, would be my guess. Yeah. Yeah. So now there's like two things we have to do to finish out the game before the credits will play. We have to exit the inn and then go to the hotel, and there's a couple dialogue prompts that we have to hit in the hotel. So if I had to do that Light Valen fight again, the very first hawk form he gave me, if there's a thing that can happen where if you get hit with the first laser that he does, if you're jumping, it sometimes can trigger a transformation. And I think when I got hit by the first laser in that first hawk form, I didn't get the jump out in time, and so I just kind of got hit and fell down on the ground. And I wonder, had I gotten a jump out there, if that would have triggered a quicker transformation out of that first hawk form. Getting hawk form twice is bad news, honestly. Because if he had gone into... Nah, now I'm just supposing. I don't actually have anything concrete evidence-wise to say about it, but... Yeah, just happy that we were able to carry a good pace, even though there's still a few mistakes in the run. I'm pretty pleased with it. As far as my intention to continue pressing to like try to pick up that full minute, I don't know if there's really any need to do that. I kind of want to leave it as a still attainable world record, so that if somebody else wanted to get it or to retake it, that opportunity is still available and someone else can like keep playing the game. I don't want to push the game too far that other people won't play it. So in this moment, I'm not thinking that I'll need to continue grinding this category, but you know, we'll see how I feel in the morning, or how I feel, you know, a couple weeks from now, or a couple months from now, or a couple years from now. But I'm happy. I think if my schedule allows it, I'd like to get back into any percent, because I think that there's a little more community there that could be fun to compete against. However, that run is a half hour longer, and I don't always have that time in my schedule to play for 3 and some hours rather than 2 and some hours. Plenty of... Oh, let me start here. I kind of always wanted a sequel with the way this ends, but I think it's kind of too late now. Yeah, you never say never, right? I'll still play a sequel. It's my favorite game. Yeah, I would too. I think it'd be real hard. I can't imagine that Threads of Fate getting a sequel and then me not buying it, not playing it. That's not a reality that we live in. I would be hyped out of my mind, even if it was terrible. Plenty of PBs, though, so I'm steady on my way. Yeah. I think here in recent weeks, there was my first one, then a second PB, then a third one that was a PB. There was a few bad runs in between, a few resets, and then this is my 4th. If you count the first one, I guess PBs, you wouldn't count the first one, but it's my 4th complete run that was progressively better than the one before it. Well, not the one immediately before it, but the 4th instance where my time has gotten better. That's what I mean to say. Because I did have a couple runs that were bad, even though they were completed. Like I had a no reset run in my earlier grind a few weeks ago, and then 2 days ago I had a D-rest run. It was a 239 or 237 or no, it was a 238 that would have been a 237, but I did a little bit of science and exploration and some stuff that cost me time, even though I wasn't technically speedrunning. So would have been a 236 or wait, what did I say? Yeah, 236. So I've had some runs that I completed that were not PBs. All right, let's succeed at these last couple things here. Get these last dialogues out of the way. So the nice thing with Mint, one of the things I appreciate about playing Mint speedrun rather than a Rue speedrun, is at the end you do a couple dialogues and then you just bounce out of there. With Rue, you have to talk to like 3 or 4 different people in different places. You have to run around town to different things. With Mint, you just go straight to the hotel, find Gramps, hit yes, and you're done for the most part. So, couple dialogues here. Hopefully we can quickly hit them. It's after he bonks his head 7 times on the wall. Okay. There we go. Now we just have to hold X until the credits play. It's never too late for a sequel. That's right. And even if the sequel doesn't pick off exactly where this one teases, like, I kind of think it would be fun if the sequel picked up, not immediately with Mint and Brew starting a quest for the 2nd relic or whatever, but if there was a little bit of time where something happens to Mint or Rue, and like one of the starting missions or starting mysteries is like what happened to Mint? She got taken prisoner. Or what happened to Rue? He hasn't returned back from this spooky level. Or, you know, like if the sequel game starts out with either a rescue or a mystery that you have to solve about the main characters that have already started on their quest. So yeah, we're just holding down X until the credits start. Yeah, pretty much. They really did. We're not gonna see the secret ending before the timer stops. And I don't know. Do you guys want to see the secret ending today? It'll be right after timer stops. So I could call it right when timer ends, or we could look at the secret ending. I don't really feel like sitting around and reading it all though. It's getting pretty late here. But if someone's... You know what? No, I'm driving this stream. We're not gonna watch the secret ending. So sorry if you're like hoping to see the secret ending. I'm not gonna stream it. I'm not gonna sit around and do that tonight. It can be easily searched on YouTube if that's something you feel like needing to see. Basically got the game memorized. Yeah. Oh, Fandam, are you interested to see the secret ending? Go find it on YouTube. Smile. Alright, I can stop holding down X. Now we just get to rock out to the awesome Mint finale music. Yeah, YouTube it, bitches. This run will end up on YouTube. At least the local recording. Chat won't be on YouTube, but I'll also probably highlight it on Twitch too. But of course it'll have whatever stream lag I had during the stream will be saved to the Twitch highlight. But I have a local recording that I'll upload to YouTube, and I'll use that to submit to speedrun.com for verification. You can link if I need you. I don't need you to, but if you feel like sharing the link, that's fine to do. I don't think I have anything set up to kill links. I don't have a fancy chat bot like that. It's cool. I've been inching back through it recently. Been inching back through what? Worth watching, but I'd recommend playing both stories first. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's definitely worth saying. If anybody's here that like, we're talking about the secret ending, but like, yeah, don't go YouTube it. Play the game first. Play both stories. Go earn it for yourself. It's way more meaningful when you've been on this journey with the characters and stuff. There's Johnny Wolf. Bork. I should also mention too, if anybody's a fan of this game that's watching this now or in the future for whatever reason, if you're a fan of the game and you've not already joined the Threads of Fate community Discord server, please consider yourself cordially invited to do so. We have a large collection of fans, a large collection of resources, a large collection of cool things related to the game, translated interviews. We have a tabletop RPG that's in the works, and we have our eyes set on some projects to do in the future. And we would love if you would join us on some of that and keeping this community active and alive and sharing this great game with other people. The way you can join that Discord is usually you can find it with just a little Threads of Fate Discord server Google search. You just punch that in. It should come up as one of the search results. You can also find it on the Threads of Fate speedrun.com page. There's a link with a little Discord logo in one of the corner of the pages. You can click that. That'll get you there too. And then also, hopefully, I'm still posting links around on other places. I think it's pinned in on our Dewprism subreddit, and I know I've pinned it on my Twitter account, and so it can be found in other places too. So hopefully, if for some reason in the future one of those links isn't working or you can't find it easily, check around. So it says it's also confusing without knowing both sides. Yeah, a little bit. I think it kind of builds off of Ruse ending more than Mince ending though. Threads of Fate. I bought the disc recently. Harder than I remembered. Yeah, the platforming's harder than I remembered. As a kid, it was like, I don't know if I was a better platformer as a kid or if like I was just a little more used to older games and being a little clunky. And I've grown soft in our recent years of, you know, gameplay improvements, ledge grabbing and double jumping and stuff. If platforming's gotten easier. But yeah, I found the platforming, still do find the platforming to be the hardest part of this game. We still exist, indeed we do. There are at least dozens of us. Except now I can say there's more than 100 on the Discord server, which is pretty cool. Can't link that one, I don't know how. Well. Go find it, that link somewhere else, and then copy it. All right, we're coming up towards the end here. Get ready to push a button. Here's our copyright. So time ends when Mint's story, the end or whatever, comes up at the very end. When the words appear on screen is when timer ends. So I'm going to be watching here. $2:34:12. New world record. Very cool. Thank you guys for watching. It was cool to have people cheering me on. I'm gonna end stream at this point. But thank you for watching. And I will catch you guys later, hopefully on another stream, yeah? I'm certainly not done with this game. I might be done with this category of speedrun, but there's still lots for me to do in the game as far as, you know, finding information or exploring new routes and strategies, glitch hunting, you know, other little projects and things. So I'm definitely going to be streaming Threads of Fate again. This isn't the end for me, and I am probably still going to be speedrunning it, just maybe not this category. But yeah, thank you for congrats. I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.